Hello everybody. We have already seen in one of our last classes the different configurations of operation of transistor, common emitter, common base and common collector. Now from now onwards we will be discussing about in some details about individually about this different type of operation of transistor in different modes. So let us first start with the CE connection. CE means the common emitter configuration of transistor. Here the common or ground is side is the emitter, as the name suggests, and this ground or common side of each loop, that means there will be a input loop and another will be output loop. So let us first draw the basic circuit of common emitter mode of operation of BJT. So let us first take the NPN BJT. So this is the NPN BJT. A base resistance RB is taken. A base biasing voltage source is taken as VBB. A collector resistance RC is taken, and a collector biasing voltage source VCC is taken. Since it is common emitter configuration, so emitter is grounded, because this side is base, this side is emitter, and this terminal is collector. You already know voltage between collector and emitter is VCE, and voltage between base and emitter terminal is VBE. So this is the basic circuit of common emitter configuration, and here the common or ground side of each voltage source is connected to the emitter. Because of this, the circuit is called common emitter connection. This circuit has two loops. One is the left loop. This loop, it is called the base loop or the input circuit, and right one is the output loop, or it is called the collector loop. So there are two loops in the circuit. We are also segregating as input and output. Base side is the input and collector side is the output. In the base loop you can see the VBB source, the voltage source VBB forward biases the emitter base junction. You can understand now because it is a NPN BJT, so positive terminal of battery is connected to P side and negative terminal to N side, so it is forward biasing the emitter base junction, and RB is a current limiting resistance called base resistance. By changing VBB and or RB, we can change the base current IB, and changing the base current will eventually change the collector current. As you know, there is a relation between IB and IC via beta. I have already discussed in the last lecture, and in other words we can say the base current controls the collector current. So we can say by virtue of beta, base current IB at the input side, input circuit, will be controlling the output circuit collector current. This idea is very important, that base current will control the collector current. So it means a small current in the base will control a large current in the collector. As a result, we will see that the BJT in this common emitter mode configuration will act as a current amplifier. It will amplify current in the collector loop. So current amplifier. In the collector loop, the source voltage VCC reverse biases the collector base junction through this RC. It is reverse biasing because this positive electrode, positive terminal of VCC is connected with N side of NPN BJT. Collector terminal is N type here. So it is reverse biasing the collector base junction. The supply voltage VCC will reverse bias, and or else the transistor won't work properly, because the emitter base junction we need forward biasing, and for collector base junction we need reverse biasing for normal operation of BJT. In other words, we can say that the collector must be positive, and in this figure the collector must be positive to collect most of the free electrons injected into the base. The collector terminal must be positive to this side so that it can attract most of the majority carriers in terms of electrons coming into the collector from the emitter region. Now the flow of base current in the left loop, that is the input loop, produces a voltage across the base resistor RB. This one. Obviously the current through a resistor will produce a voltage drop or a voltage across the base resistor RB. Similarly, the flow of collector current in the right loop produce a voltage drop across the collector resistance RC. So there will be two voltage drops because of the flow of two different types of currents. Now let us see some terminologies, the subscripts that are being used. A double subscript notation is used with the transistor circuit. Now there are two types of double subscript notations. When the subscripts are same, suppose VBB and VCC, consider VBB and VCC. V means it is obviously voltage, and the subscript is BB and CC. So when the same subscript is used, B and B and C, that means it will represent a voltage source. A source will be always used with same subscript twice, that is either VBB, VCC, VEE, something like that. But when the subscripts are different, that will mean the voltage is measured between 2 points, two different terminals at which it is being represented. So suppose here we have written two voltages, VBE and VCE. So VBE means it is the voltage measured between base and emitter, and VCE means it is the voltage measured between collector and emitter. So when the subscripts are different, it will mean the measurement is taken between the two terminals of the, or between the two nodes of the transistor circuit. Now single subscript notation. So another is single subscript terminology. So we can write here VBB, VCC, same subscript, means it represents voltage source, and VBE, VCE, different subscript represent voltage between two terminals or nodes. So now let us see, this is double subscript terminology, and now single subscript, the use of single subscript for transistor circuits. Single subscripts are used for node voltages. They are used for node voltages, that is what is the voltage between the subscripted point and the ground. And node voltage means, any node voltage is measured with respect to a ground or reference. So when the reference is at ground, that means at zero potential, that means suppose we are mentioning VBE, that which is written as VB minus VE. Now if VE is grounded or at zero potential, so VBE can be equivalently written as VB. So then a single subscript will be sufficient to make us understand that it is the voltage of the particular node B. So VB is the voltage between base and the ground, and in that case, and VC accordingly from VCE will be the voltage between the collector and the ground. Now so here in this common emitter configuration, from all the voltages that are being used here, VCE, since it can be written as VC, because VC minus V, if written, V is already grounded, so it can be written as VC only. Similarly, VCB is VC minus VB, both is existing, and VBE, the other voltage should be VB, because VE is already at 0. So these are the notations and representations for different voltages. Those are used for analyzing the transistor or representing the transistor circuits. Now the next point of discussion is transistor static characteristics. Static characteristics. Static characteristics of transistor. Now what is static characteristics of transistor, alternately called IV characteristics, means current voltage characteristic. It is the graphical form of the relation among various current and voltage variables. Those are being used for transistor analysis, and they are considered as transistor static characteristics. Now, by considering any two variables as independent variable, it is very much possible to draw different families of characteristic curves. Only two sets of characteristic curves, known as input and output characteristics, for the common base and common emitter modes of operation, and they are of practical importance. Common collector mode of operation is not very widely used. The most widely used configuration is common emitter configuration, and then little less used is common base configuration, and common collector configuration is very limitedly used. So based on this different type of configurations or modes of operation of transistor, we can classify the characteristic curves into two as input and output characteristics for each and every mode of operation. So for each mode of operation, there will be a classification of input characteristics and output characteristics. The plot of input characteristics. Now, what is input characteristics? How to plot the input characteristics? It is the plot of input current against input voltage versus input voltage. So plot of input current and input voltage, plot between them is called input characteristics, with output voltage as a parameter for the particular mode of operation, with output voltage as the third parameter, as a parameter. That means the input characteristics will be plotted between input current and input voltage, considering another quantity, output voltage, as a parameter. That means we need to first fix the output voltage at some value, and based on that output voltage, whatever input current and input voltage are being whatever set of input voltage or input currents are being found, if they are plotted, we will get the input characteristics. Similarly, the output characteristics is output current versus output voltage with input current as a parameter for the particular mode of operation, this will give us output characteristics. So output characteristics will be, the idea is first we have to fix the input current at some particular value, and based on that particular value the set of variables for output current and output voltage, if between them a plot is found, that will be called output characteristics for that particular mode of operation. Now if we change this parametric value either for in case of input characteristics or in case of output characteristics, for the change of parametric value we should get a family of curves, each for input and output characteristics and for a particular mode of operation. Now let us first see the common emitter or IV characteristics, or we can say static characteristics. This will be called static characteristics, IV or static characteristics for CE mode of operation, common emitter mode. These are called static characteristics because for a particular fixed parametric value there will be a fixed set of variables between which if they are varied, a plot of curves, plot of characteristics will be found in case of input or output characteristics, and those set of values will be fixed. That's why they are called static characteristics. Now let us first see the common emitter mode of operation and to find its particular characteristics. So now what we will see for common emitter characteristics, you know that the emitter is grounded, so obviously the input circuit will be comprised of base and emitter terminal, and everything is measured between the base and emitter, and for the output circuit everything is measured between the collector and emitter terminal. So to plot the input characteristics in case of common emitter mode of operation, input current is IB and input voltage is VBE, and output voltage is, means the parameter is VCE, because VCE is, in that case is the output voltage, because you know the collector and emitter loop is the output loop, output voltage. So the input characteristics will be a plot between IB and VBE with different set of values of VCE. Now how this plot will look like? For a fixed value of VCE we will get VBE in the x-axis, IB in the y-axis, and suppose for a fixed value of VCE, IB and VBE you can understand is something like a emitter diode. The input circuit is nothing but base emitter junction is nothing but the emitter diode. So when you are plotting the current and voltage across a diode, then the input characteristics, and since this junction is forward biased as well, so the input characteristics for, in this case of CE mode of operation of BJT, you know, since the base emitter junction is forward biased, so the input characteristics will look like the characteristic curve of a forward biased diode. So it will, after a certain cut-in voltage, suppose 0.7 volt for silicon, it will be an exponentially rising curve for a particular set of value VCE, particular value. So if we now change the value VCE, we will see that it will be a little bit shifted parallelly. something like this. So as we are changing the value of VCE, we will get a family of curves, and they are shifted horizontally from a particular position around this 0.7 volt. So the characteristics are similar to that of a forward bias diode, because the base emitter junction is forward biased, and it is the plot of base voltage and base emitter voltage and base current. So basically it is the plot of the forward biased emitter base junction diode. So it will be look like a diode forward bias VI characteristic. So for constant VBE, the magnitude of the base current decreases. Now if we consider VB as constant, the magnitude of base current will decrease as we increase VCE, because as we increase VCE, that means if we increase the output voltage, that means the output current. So now as we increase the value VCE, this value, keeping VBE constant, it means that when VCE is increased, the effective base width and hence the recombination base current will decrease. That means if you consider an NPN BJT like this is IB suppose, and the VC is between these two, collector and emitter. This is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. Now if we keeping VBE constant, this voltage is kept constant. Now if we increase this VCE means we are actually increasing the reverse bias, and VBE constant means we are keeping the forward bias constant and we are increasing the reverse bias. So increasing the reverse bias between collector base junction, that means the depletion width across this junction JCB will be increased, and if the depletion width is increased horizontally, that means the effective base width is this much, but the layer is now coming from this position towards this position to this side. That means the effective base width into it will become lesser, and since this effective base width will become lesser, the chances of recombination to produce the base current will decrease, will become also lesser. That means IB will be decreased. So if IB is decreased, so if VB is constant, we are getting that if VC is increased, so for VBE constant, if VCE is increased, that means IB is decreased. So considering this fact, we can say that this family of curves will be giving us different values of VCE. So this is the highest base current, that means early conduction of base current. So this is the maximum value of base current. So at this direction IB will be increasing, and at this direction IB will be decreasing. So the maximum value for IB should be this curve. Suppose this is for VCE equal to 0 volt. Now as we go on increasing VCE negatively, that is minus 0.1 volt, minus 0.2 volt and minus 1 volt, we will see that the base current will be, the characteristic curve will be gradually shifting towards the right. So as we are going on increase the VCE, the IB will be decreased. That means the characteristic curve will be going towards right. As we are decreasing VCE, the base current will be increased and the characteristic curve will go towards left. So this is the explanation of this input characteristics for common emitter mode of operation. Now for in this case, in this circuit, since it is a forward bias diode, if we want to calculate the value of IB from here, by using KVL, we can write by using KVL at the input loop of the just previously drawn circuit between base and emitter, it should be VBB minus VBE divided by RB. So this is the equation for finding the base current from the input loop of common emitter mode of operation. Now if we use ideal diode, this VBE should be equal to 0, and then for ideal diode or ideal base emitter junction, rather we can say, that means ideal diode, IB should be VBB by RB. And if we consider VB as 0.7 volt, then incorporating the second approximation, IB should be VBB minus 0.7 by RB. This much. So, but in most cases for problem solving, this second approximation formula, that means considering as non-ideal diode, will be useful, and it will give us the higher accuracy of calculations. Now let us solve a numerical problem. This circuit is given. You need to calculate, considering non-ideal diode, base current, calculate base current, calculate IB base current, and also the voltage across the base resistor, voltage across base resistor, that means 100K, and the collector current IC. Also you have to calculate IC considering beta DC as 200. So this is a very simple problem, and you can solve this problem to understand the input characteristics of common emitter mode of operation. And the base source voltage is 2 volt already given. It forward biases the emitter loop. This is the base emitter loop, input loop, and 100 ohm is the base resistance. And since the diode is non-ideal, so across this base emitter junction it is 0.7 volt we need to consider. So the voltage across the base resistor, suppose it is VB, this voltage, if this is the base voltage across the base resistor, if it is VB, then it is VBB minus VBE. So that is, this is VBB is 2 and VBE is 0.7 volt, so this is 1.3 volt. Now the current through the base resistor, IB, the current is like this, it is IB, it is flowing, so IB is nothing but VBB. If we can apply KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, which is sum of all the potential drops or voltages around a closed loop is equal to the sum of the energy sources applied, or the voltage sources applied around the loop. That is KVL, you know. So this is VBB minus VBE divided by RB. So 1.3 divided by 100K, so this is 13 microampere. So this is the first part of solution. So now voltage across the base resistor we have already found, it is 1.3 volt. So two solutions have been found out, and now the IC is, we know, beta IB. and that is equal to 200 into 13 microampere, that is 2.6 milliampere. So this was a simple problem to understand how the input characteristics are derived or analyzed in case of common emitter mode of operation. Now let us see the output characteristics of common emitter mode, that is the collector characteristics. But one thing, before going to the plot of collector characteristics, let us first once again recapitulate the output loop of the common emitter configurational circuit. So this is the output loop where this VCC is being applied as a voltage source in the output loop. RC is a resistance, current limiting resistance in the collector circuit, and VCE is the voltage between collector and emitter. Emitter is grounded, you can see from here. So this is the collector loop. So now let us move on to the plot of output characteristics. The typical CE mode output characteristics characteristic curves of a transistor I am going to draw right now. Here the plot is between collector current IC, so this is output characteristics of C mode of operation, and it is, I have already discussed with you about how to plot this output characteristics. What is output characteristics? It is the plot between output current and output voltage when the input current is taken as the parameter. So here the collector for this common emitter mode, output is taken from the collector with reference to the emitter, because emitter is common here or grounded. So IC is the output current because it is collector current. It is plotted against the collector to emitter voltage, which is VCE, and the parameter is taken as the input current, which is the base current IB. So this is the parameter, input current. This is IC is the output current and VC is the output voltage. Now let us first draw the diagram, but before drawing, we know that already that VBB forward biases the emitter base junction. So now we need to calculate the current through the base resistor RB, which we have already done, that is the base current. So now if we vary VBB and VCC to produce different transistor voltages and currents, then by measuring IC and VCE we can get a set of data for plotting the graph of IC versus VCE. So to draw the characteristic curve, let us take two axes, VCE in the x-axis and IC in the y-axis. And IB, first we need to fix up the value of IB by varying the biasing voltages VCC and VBB to fix the to calculate the value of IB and to keep IB at that fixed value, because it is the input current and it is the parameter for this type of characteristic plot. So now we will plot based on the value of IB. We will get by varying VCC and VBB in the circuit, we will be getting a set of values of IC and VC, and using those data the plot will be made. Now when VCE is 0, suppose VCE is 0, that means it is lying over here. The collector diode is not reverse biased actually, because if VCE is 0, that means there is no reverse biasing, and when there is no reverse biasing, that means the attraction by the electrons at the collector will not be made on the will not be made by the VCC. So we can say that the collector current will not be generated in that case, and that will be almost zero. So for VCE it will make IC almost equal to 0. So for very low value of VCE, IC will be small, almost equal to 0. And when VC is increased from 0 now, the collector current will rise sharply. So the characteristic curve will move like this first. In this fashion, it will increase sharply. Sometimes it will increase just vertically parallel to the current axis or y axis. And when VCE is a few tenths of a volt, that means when it is appreciably large, the collector current will become almost constant. That means it will almost be like this. It will bend, and the curve will bend, and it will be almost, the current will be almost constant, independent of the voltage in the x-axis. So irrespective of increasing the voltage, the curve will almost remain constant. So it will be something like this. So now we can say that after appreciable reverse bias being applied in the at the collector base junction, the electrons will be gathered at the collector region that reach through its depletion layer, through the depletion layer of collector base junction, and further increase of VCE will not increase the collector current, because at some point of time the increase of VCE will be making appreciable width of the depletion layer, and the attraction over the collected electrons at the collector will be almost saturated, and that's why no further increase of collector current will happen, and so the curve will be bent, and it will be independent with the increase of voltage of VCE, and the collector current will be getting constant. So as VCE is gone increased, the depletion layer will make the effective base width smaller, and as a result of that, more and more the base current will become lesser, and if base current will become less, it will not be able to control the collector current that much, and collector current will come to a almost fixed value. So there will no more increase of collector current in the circuit. So the curve will bend, and it will be parallel to the voltage axis. So now different set of IB values, for different set of IB values we should getting a family of such curves like this, for different set of values, IB1, IB2, IB3, IB4, something like that. And if after a certain point the VCE is increased, suppose at this value, a very high value of VCE, the reverse bias junction between collector and base will break down, and the normal transistor action will be lost, and in that case the junction between collector and base will be destroyed, and the transistor will break down, and that's why it is not intended for the transistor to operate in the region where the voltage value of VCE will be appreciably high. So now let us divide the output characteristics in three different regions for analysis purpose, and they are called regions of operation, and these regions are active region, cutoff region, and saturation region. In the active region, the emitter junction is forward biased and the collector junction is reverse biased. It is the thumb rule, and in this region base current is greater than 0 IB. So if we put some values on this IB, we can see that if this is this IB, this value is suppose 100 microampere, this is 200 microampere, this is 300 microampere, and this is 500 microampere. That means as the IB value is getting increased, the curve will be going upper. That means more there will be IB, more there will be IC. So IB will control the IC, and less there will be IB in the circuit, less will be the IC. So the family of curves will shift upward and downward, vertically and vertically up and down based on the variation of current, base current IB. More will be the base current, curve will go up. Less will be the base current, curve will go down, because IB will control the IC. More will be IB, more will be IC, and the curve will go up. Less will be IC, less is the IB, less will be IC, and the curve will go down. So now, if for a positive value of base current and VCE for a greater than equal to a few tenths of a volt, in this case tenths of volt, not that much higher, it is moderately high value. Suppose in this region, in this area of values of VCE, a transistor will be operated in this region is called active region. So active region is something where VCE will be some intermediate values between these two extremities, from 0 to a very something high value between this region, and IB is a positive value, is having a positive value. So in this region, in this active region of operation, transistor can be used to amplify signals very well. The output characteristics in this region are not horizontal lines, because it will be somewhat like this type. There will be a vertically upward trend of the characteristic curves. That means not actually like this, it will be an upward trend like this, something like this. So this is because for a fixed value of base current IB, the magnitude of collector current increases with VCE, because still for fixed value of IB, still there is a scope of increase of collector current with increasing value of VCE. So that's why it will be a little bit on the little bit to go on the upper side or higher side. It is because of early effect. This early effect will be discussed in a little bit later in the next lecture, and because of this early effect, the collector current will still be going on increasing a little bit. It will not, the curve will not be exactly horizontal with the parallel to the voltage axis. Now the cutoff region in common emitter mode, so the active region is marked by this area. This area is the active region. Now let us look what is the cutoff region. In common emitter mode, the cutoff of collector current, that means IC is approximately almost 0, is not obtained simply by making base current 0. So to achieve cutoff, in this case it is necessary to reverse bias the emitter junction slightly. That means you need to just merely making base current 0, that means decreasing the base current we have already seen that decreasing the base current, the family of curve will come down. That means it will decrease the IC, but it doesn't mean that making base current equal to 0 actually will make IC equal to 0. So what we need to do, we need to reverse bias the emitter junction slightly, because in normal case the emitter junction will be forward biased, but we need to make the emitter junction little bit reverse biased, so that uh, suppose of 0.1 volt, so that it is sufficient to make the IC approximately equal to 0, and the transistor will be said to be in a cutoff mode and it will not conduct any current. So at the output, so in the output characteristics, the region of operation in the cutoff mode will be something here. There will be very low value of IB almost equal to 0, and the curve will be almost flattened immediately from rising from this origin. And for this IB equal to 0, the region below the curve of IB equal to 0 will be called the cutoff region. That means here IC will be almost equal to 0 because of emitter junction as well as the collector junction, both junction will be reverse biased. So what we have found, for active region of operation, the emitter junction is emitter junction is need to be forward biased and collector junction need to be reverse biased, but for cutoff region of operation both the junctions need to be reverse biased. So for active region of operation, JEB forward and JCB reversed bias should be applied, and for cutoff region of operation both reversed bias is required. Now the third region is saturation region. Saturation region means the transistor operating in this region has the collector as well as the emitter junctions both forward biased by at least the cut-in voltage.